Hello and welcome to CoffeePods. We're really pleased to be back with you. Anyone who is new here, an extra warm welcome. My name is Lisa, and as usual, I'm joined by Wes. Great to be back with you, Wes.
Yep, looking forward to this one.
Yes, this is an urgent question. So these ones are always some of my favorite. So we've had somebody asking about prayer. And the question that's come through is that I have become stuck in one way of praying for others. What can I do? Yes, I'm sure we've all been there, haven't we? Because we get quite comfortable in the way that we do things.
Yeah, we do. And it's a great question because, we automatically assume that it's like putting petrol in your tank. You just, put the thing in and fill it up.
Yeah.
But actually, prayer is a very interactive thing. It's a very human thing that, we're sort of entering into it with all of us. It's not just, well, I'll say some words. And you're right, we do develop a way of prayer that we feel comfortable with. It doesn't expose us too much. We're not risking too much. And it gives us a sense of security, but it can also become a little bit of a prison, I guess, too.
Yeah, because I was just going to ask you, is there actually anything wrong with, the word stuck makes it a negative thing, doesn't it? But is there anything wrong with being in one way of praying?
No, there isn't. And of course, I think in a sense, the question is, does it work?
Right.
We might feel stuck, but does it work? It can be that God is using an approach to ministry, and it's the way that you normally do that. And the question is it working for you? Is the question I would ask, as well as is it working for the person that you're praying for?
Yeah.
So if you're praying for somebody and they get the idea, you're just going through the words, Lord bless this person, just really help them. It's not really bringing the presence of Jesus to them. So is it working in the way that you expect? Is it working in the way that you expect it would work for others?
Yeah, that's good.
Big question.
Yeah, definitely. I think sorry, this might be going off topic a little bit, but you were saying, like, if they can tell you're going through the words or through the motions. Someone on our team was praying the other day, and it was amazing because what they prayed or spoke out was just hit me as such truth. And I can kind of hear what you're saying about whether it's useful for the person being ministered to, because as somebody who is in ministry, I think you also pick up on stuff, and that's not always helpful, but you can pick up on whether it's just going through the motions, or it just feels like, oh, I've heard this before, especially if you've got something ongoing. But this individual was so in tune with the Spirit that what they spoke or prayed was perfect, probably for them as much as me, I imagine.
And there's that sense of the current nature of the Spirit being with us and upon us. I think sometimes on the other side of the coin, it may be that this might be the 10th time we've ever prayed this. But actually, for the person we're praying for, it's their first time.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
So it comes to them fresh, and it comes to them alive, and they're experiencing the presence of Jesus because it's fresh for them, and we just need to keep our own hearts fresh for us. And in a sense, one of the ways we do that is to bring our ministry to God outside of doing ministry. Say, Lord, I just want to offer this to you. Lord, just come and speak to me about what I'm doing, and because I want people to experience Jesus, not just the power of the meeting or the ministry or the thing we've done. So it's got to keep it fresh. So that's a great question.
Yeah, so that's cool. So you've got us thinking about whether it works. If you feel this, does it work? Does it work for us? Does it work for the person? What else? What else do we need to be thinking about?
Well, I suppose you could think about, is it just a season? You get in a way of doing something, for a bit, and then if you look back last year, you weren't doing it like that. It's just something new, and often God can bring, like you just talked about, some revelation to you that suddenly it puts all the Christmas lights back on. The whole thing's like oh wow, okay. And
Mm.
you can see of how God is working, or the things that he's saying. And what I've worked out in my life is that often when I'm asking God for something different, what I'm often asking for is something deeper,
Right.
not something different.
Mm.
And so I guess one of the ways to start praying is to say, God, before I change what I do, could you change me?
Oh, wow.
And so, is it a season that you're going through?
Yeah. That's very interesting and a good
Mm.
thing to think about, isn't it?
It's not bad. And you go through many of those seasons in your life. Been in the ministry 40 years, and I've been through a number of those seasons where things change and things get different and things get deeper.
Do you think for people in this sort of situation, like the person who sent us this question, that often it is about an internal change more than a process in how we do things?
Yeah, I think a lot of the time it's that. I think there's a lot
Yeah.
of time when we're feeling dry and stuff, and we think, okay, if I go to this place, if I go to this meeting, if I go and visit this place, where things are supposed to be happening, something will happen for me. Whereas actually we get distracted by the different when actually we should be looking for the deeper.
Yeah, thank you. That's really helpful. Okay, so then thinking about the person we're praying for,
Yeah,
because they are a huge part of what we're doing here.
that is true. I guess one of the things that we do in Acorn is we don't look at it from the basis of what do I feel comfortable doing and what can I do, but we say, what does the person before me need?
Right.
So am I praying this way because I feel comfortable with it, or am I praying this way because this is what this person needs to meet Jesus right now?
Yeah.
And so I think part of that is to be open to things that we've not experienced, of how God works, of how the Spirit guides us before. And of course, the big challenge with that is we want to be certain. That we understand that we're looking for a point of certainty, but of course, in the realm of faith, all we have is trust and assurance, and in a sense that God is with us. And perhaps we're wanting certainty, and God gives us assurance.
Now, you spoke about this at the last Healing Academy, I think it was, or one of the lounges, and you asked our group, didn't you, whether there's a difference between trust, was it trust and assurance?
Yeah, certainty and trust.
Certainty, yeah. Can you, it's awful because it's gone out my head, and it's probably because I'm the pressure of the moment, but what you really opened something up for us there. Can you just go into that a little bit?
Well, certainty means that it's all locked down and the outcome is predicted and unchanging.
Right.
Trust is when I have an assurance, a confidence in God, but I can't determine how this works out.
Yeah.
So, for instance, if you jump out of a plane with a parachute, I hasten to say, right, your trust is that this thing will float downwards and you will come to the ground. But actually, you don't have certainty about that, but you have trust in the process. And you have an assurance that the person who's taught you to skydive knows what they're doing. And so similarly, from the plane, there isn't a piece of rope that you literally slide down to the ground. You're in that place of free fall, of trust in the process that you're in. And praying for others is very much like that, in that we are in that place of not being able to determine or predict how this works out, but we know that the end is good because God is good. And that's our trust. And that's the assurance that we have. We don't have certainty. We have assurance and trust.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it really does open it up a lot. Right. So we've asked 3 questions, really, haven't we, around this? We've asked whether it works for you and the person. Are you just in a season? Is there a deeper change that might be needed within? And also, what does the person we're ministering to need now? All these things we've looked at, we're not trying to work out whether we're doing things right or wrong. They're just practical things that we need to be thinking about. What if, what if somebody does feel like they're really locked in and this is just really not working?
Okay. I've been reflecting on that, and I'd just like to read you this poem. It's called "It Is Not." It's a short one. It says, "It is not that I do not want to pray, or that I have forgotten the how to. It is not that I do not care for those that are known and loved, or that I have wearied having your ear. It is not that I do not know how great are the needs they have, or the longings they carry. It is just that I do not know what to say. Which words might rise above the overwhelming that is felt by all who hold these things before you? But this is my only comfort, that you already know all things. I decided long ago that the desire to act, to intervene, was always there in you. So that even here in this moment, I am sure that whatever I desire can ever speak out is surpassed by your greater goodness. But still, I do not know how to frame thought to word and word to prayer. So I will hold to this, that my knowledge of name and face is sufficient data for me to pass on to you, that infinite love needs only the merest information, and that by saying their name, it becomes the focus of your name. So here is my "it is not" prayer. These are names and faces I know, and my confidence is that you know and send heavenly answer. So Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayer. Amen.
I like that. Yeah, that's good.
Captures something of, there are times when we don't know what to do, but name and face.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you. This has been really helpful, and hopefully those of you listening have just felt a little bit inspired and resourced by this podcast. So let's leave it there then, Wes, and we'll catch up in a week or so for another episode.
Yeah, look forward to it. Take care.
Bye.